onegaishimasu. Today let's talk a little bit about the Kata Sanseru. Sanseru it's a forerunner of several other katas that you'll hit coming up. It seems very similar in certain ways and very different in others. The start is very similar to the Kata Seisan and the Kata Super-Impe. So it starts off very similar, which also starts off very much like Sanchin Kata. So that's kamae is very important to be able to ground yourself and to be ready for fighting. There's also the additional idea of you're being grabbed and you can come up and open that way. But that is a recurring theme in Goju katas, is that particular opening. So it's important, and this one is the next step along the way from the opening of Sanchin Kata. This kata goes in 4 different imbusen directions, so indicates 4 different opponents or a recurrence of the same technique 4 different times, 4 different ways. So it's a good kata to learn. A lot of people misinterpret one of the key moves in there, which is coming out and looks like a Impizuke and a Gyakuzuki, but this is not necessarily straightforward Impizuki. It is a lot of times, this is a really great defense against the way most people fight. When most people throw a punch, they hook it around, big cowboy type punch, boom. They don't fight like this, like karate people do a lot of times. So we need a defense against that kind of an attack. And since one of the tenets of Goju karate is to close distance, this move works several, it solves that problem, but it also protects the head from one of these big looping punches. And you can put that elbow point into your opponent, and by tensioning the body all at once, you can drive that again. Those elbow points into these nerve ending points around the ganka points. So if you visualize somebody taking a big swing at you like this, and you come inside of it with the intention of driving that right up against the surface of their body, it's not like a deep thing. It hits them, then the punch. So it's boom, boom. So you've got this as a rangefinder, and it's drilling into your opponent and following right behind that strong close-up Gyakuzuki, okay? And if they were punching this way and you block it, they punch the other way, you can block it. All you have to do is keep changing that position and you protect your head. But you're also moving inside of this looping punch that makes it more effective. So don't worry about the punch. Think of moving closing distance, which is Goju fighting strategy. Close distance and hit, then boom. Okay, now we're going to go to where Goju likes to go, and that is we're going to just go ahead and take the leg. So here, and then another direction, whichever direction in the kata that is. So, key element, Impizuke, boom. From here, I can just bounce somebody away from me. It's incredibly strong. If I had a partner here, I would show you could bounce them probably 4 or 5 feet backwards just with this kind of a move, even though I'm not trying to penetrate real hard at first. I'm just trying to get inside that looping punch, cover my head, Gyakuzuki, take their breath, then we're going to take their knee with a kick to the knees. So this is there is also a very beautiful block that starts out with a palm tortoise, and then it strikes with the elbow. So if a punch is coming and I come into it this way, deflects, and then Impi hits them, this one usually goes right to the groin, although in kata it's shown right about here. So as we're coming in, punch coming to my face, this block, and this, my own strike to their face with my elbow, and this to the groin, and then I'm going to pull up and throw them away from me. So the hands remain open. They're not. It's not a double punch. It is a. I've got his groin. I've got his arm, and I just hit him to take his mind. And so now I'm going to upset him. It's usually this knee that does it, not a foot sweep. He's right here, and I go one. The hands are still open because I have him this way, not punching him. So I grab here, shove him away. But at the end of that, we show it closed. So if you understand that that is actually pushing that person away, upsetting them, jerk their legs out, and throw them away. They're horizontal when you throw them. But in the kata, after this move here, we show with the hands closed. So a lot of people misinterpret that that's a double punch. It's really not. It's just closing the hands at the end of that, letting go of them. So we do that a number of times, and we do that both ways. And then at the end of the second one here, 1, 2, there is a very interesting turn and sink, which is, Chiden Sensei said that this was derived from dog kung fu. So you end up almost with these little puppy dog paws. But you're here, and I pivot on that back heel, use that as a pivot point, and it's almost like hula here and there. So there you've got this look right here. Well, the fingers give this away. The top hand, thumb is to the third finger, and if you remember in Tensho, that means this is rising because that sets up that koruke, that block, by setting the thumb to the root of the third finger or ring finger. So that's set up. Now the other one though is thumb to second finger root. So that tells us that this one rises, but this one's actually striking across. Even though we don't really show that, we know that as we come around, this one is rising and this one is coming across. So it's a very interesting ending. If you think like water going down a drain, that's a good analogy for the way the body moves through this. We're here and we go 1, sink, and 2. So we end up at 45 to the line of travel. So I have heard, and I can't verify it of course, that this was Miyagi Chojin's favorite kata. And perhaps it was. It's a really good kata for close-in combat. In the third move in this kata, where we're here, and then we open and expand that wrist, okay? Someone has your wrist. Here, someone grabs the wrist, expand it. Keep the elbow close to the body. So you here, expand. What happened is you expanded the wrist, opening up their hand here. Now, this one turns clockwise. Both hands turn clockwise. So I'm here, expand that wrist. This hand comes open and they both turn. This is what puts them in a wrist lock. Here, and then I'm going to scrape their wrist right off of me. And then it's a strike behind the knee and collapse them to the deck. So boom, pow, very strong there. They go down, and the kata goes on here, here, 1, 2, 3, 4. But the reality is you just put somebody on the ground and you're trying to stomp them. So the kick would probably be more like an axe kick, but we don't actually show that in the kata. So again, we're here on the third one, which you'll see in a minute, and visualize the wrist has been grabbed. If you have a partner, have them grab the wrist and inhale there. So you've really expanded that. And now both hands turn clockwise. This one comes across a ring to the arm, and boom, you just scraped them off of what left they had because you turned that over on them. Strip their hand off, behind the knee, collapse them. Behind and shove right into that knee to drop them on the floor. Then the hands just come up and up. They kick, kick, 1, 2. So, a lot of good defensive moves in this kata. Some of them you don't see in many places. So, it has a really good fighting spirit, I think, which is why it's probably one of my favorites. And the Kensetsu getis, the knee kicks, are a thing of beauty. And this kata works on them a lot. So if your Kensetsu getis were marginal up to this point, they should be pretty good after you master this kata. One thing about that, we're here, okay, if you visualize going almost like to Neko Ashidachi here, like so. Going out at an angle, it's not a side kick. Your opponent's right in front of you, like he's here, I'm here, okay? So if I come into here, wow, I want to kick out at that angle to take his front leg out. So a lot of people tend to turn this into a side kick, which is pretty much what all beginners do, or all intermediates that are learning this. At first, to get that piston-like action, they turn this to sideways, like almost like a side kick. But it is out, the opponent's in front of you, so you need to kick at that quarter. But if you, from here, from Zenkutsudachi, if you visualize that you're going, really not stopping in Neko Ashidachi, but going through Neko Ashidachi, wow, you should be able to stop it there. Step across, boom, there's your block. So, well, let me walk through the kata, talking it through. I may need to adjust for distance because we're in a small space, and if you're still dealing with coronavirus, you may be in a pretty tight space too. So if not, you've got more room, that's great. If I have to adjust, I'll tell you when I'm doing that. So let's look at this kata. Sanseru. Ichi. Knee. Sun. Right back to guard. Foot straightens up, come through. Each. Knee. Foot straightens. 3 going this way. Very typical Goju pattern. And this time the hand stays. Wrist is grabbed, expand the wrist. Both turn clockwise and strip them off. Go for the knee, boom, boom. Drive them to the ground. Kick, kick. There's that impi to right into the Ganka region, and Gyakuzuki. Very strong technique. Now, through Neko Ashidachi, bam. This is the first one is a 180 turn. Kick, 1, 2, back. 90-degree turn. 1, 2, 3. Back through. 180. 1. Kick. 1, 2. Now, there's no Gyakuzuki or Kazamizuki after this one. So we're here, and we go 1, 2. Here, 1, 2. It's a double block. A juju. Fists are closed. Right hand on top. Okay. And then we come around and here and bam. Hands are open this time, right hand's on the bottom. So the first one, let me turn this a different angle for us. Last one was here, drop, okay? Make sure you cover the groin with that block, that's what you're blocking. Don't lean over, okay, but just drop. Then immediately hands up and bam. Same block, but hands are open. The second time. Right hand was on top first, up. Right hand is on bottom second. So they're on that same line. So what it looked like again, On the fourth one here, instead of a Kensetsugeti, I bring here, I go 1, 2, then 1, 2. Now I'm gonna go, this is that interesting block I showed you. Looks like this, and we go 1, 2, then 3, yep. Okay, step across, 1, 2, like that, okay? So, in the kata we were set up the way I was running it, this way. So looking at the side, we go here, there. So there's that block and that strike. What I'm not showing is this hand coming in and hitting them with a palm heel in the groin and then grab it. Someone has your groin and your arm and it just hits you and they kick up by ripping your groin upwards. I think you're going to go up in the air, particularly when I lift with that knee under their thigh to make them lose balance. So we were, again, here, each. Now, come, hands stay open. All right, now, 1, 2. Here's the second one of that same block. There's the block, there's the strike, fast hand, bam. Now, here's that finish. Should be pointing toward you, I'm sorry. Running this at an angle. So, and then to finish, here, and there. Right. So sometimes I had to turn that a little bit for you to be able to get a different angle on it. I do that sometimes, but then I'll go back here in a second and run it, the imbusen, the whole way like it's supposed to go, so you can see that a little better. But sometimes I'll turn it so that you as the audience can see what I'm doing. So let's run it more of a Tai Chi speed this time, but on through. So, Sanseru. Immediate kick. Nope. So that's a little bit, maybe see the whole imbusen in the direction it should be run. Let me grab a quick drink of tea here. So, as I said, this kata will really improve those Kensetsugedis and that ability to reorient yourself to the 4 compass points for different attacks. So another important thing, excuse me, green tea. Another important thing is once you do the Kensetsugeti and turn, step across, immediately block and immediately get from there. You have to visualize there's an opponent right there. So if you make your turn here, bam, 1, and then you pause, you've been had. So the timing on it is from here, whichever direction you happen to be going at that time. Here, 1, and immediately 2. So every time you turn, you have to visualize that there's another body there that you have to kick before they do harm to you. And then the kick And then inside the punch, boom, boom, there goes the knee. Now the other direction, knee kick, 1, 2. And bow, bow, 1, 2, bow, boom. Stop. 1, 2, stop. So again, I turned a different direction so you can see things. Okay, the last time, I'll try to run it more of a speed and power with the keymae points that I would hope to be able to run this if I was showing it in a grading or in a tournament, knowing that Kata and Goju-Ryu is meant for fighting. It's not a dance. It's not meant for just for competition, although it's a marvelous competition. And they have marvelous competition katas to run. The proof is in the pudding in all Goju-Ryu, all Okinawa, and particularly Karate del Goju-Ryu. And that is everything we're doing is meant to do harm to someone who attacked us. It's meant to do maximum damage with minimal amounts of moves to end a fight quickly. The longer a fight goes on, the more vulnerable we are. We don't know who they are, we don't know if they have weapons, we don't know if they have friends. So I don't think you can mess around and delay things if you're attacked. Best strategy, put them down quick, put them down good. So if someone is coming inside my punch, hitting me Gyakuzuki very strong right into the solar plexus or liver, and then boom, there goes my knee, next opponent, pow, boom. That's what we want. If there's 3 or 4 of them, you don't have time to be fighting it out with one of them while you've got 3 others that are going to jump in and help. So these all Goju katas are meant to end fights quickly. And you must remember, we're not going to start them. So we didn't attack them, but if I'm attacked, I'm not going to have any mercy or any, I'm not going easy on someone. They attacked me. I don't know who they are, if they're psychotic or just what the agenda is, but if they attack me or mine, my only alternative is to end that fight as quickly as I can, which is often very vicious techniques. So, all right. Sanseru! Jump! Jump! I hope you got something out of this. I know I got a good sweat. So it's hot here in Texas right now, and that's why I'm wearing shorts, old Okinawan style. Shorts or gardening pants, no shirt would be appropriate, but here we have it. So thanks for viewing this. I hope it helps you, and I hope that it made some sense. Arigato gozaimashita. Thank you.